What happened to Alfalfa after the show is just heartbreaking. The 1955's Little Rascals series featured misfit youngsters. MGM's 1922 to 1938 Our Gang shorts produced them. Hal Roach adapted 79 shorts into the Little Rascals TV series. Characters' appearances and attitudes earned them nicknames. Who doesn't remember Alfalfa's surprising freckles and standing hair? Spanky, Buckwheat, Stimey, and Petey the dog were gang favorites. Relive the Little Rascals. Still more. The 1994 Little Rascals carried on. The Olsen twins, Whoopi Goldberg, Mel Brooks, Reba McEntire, Daryl Hannah, and Raven Simone were the stars of Penelope Spheeris' film Our Gang Celebrity Cameos, which stole the show. The Little Rascals actors have disclosed their personal and professional lives. Billy Buckwheat Thomas. Los Angeles-born William Thomas Jr. Thomas debuted in 1934 Our Gang shorts. Carlina Matthew Stimey, Beard's younger sister, played Buckwheat. Buckwheat gradually became a boy. Thomas portrayed Buckwheat as a female costumed as an African-American pickaninny with a speech impediment. He donned a hand-me-down sweater, bowed pigtails, and big boots. That characterization would later be contentious. What happened to Buckwheat? Thomas enrolled in the United States Army at the age of 23 after leaving the show. He was honorably discharged from the military and was awarded the National Defense Service Medal and the Good Conduct Medal. Although Thomas was considered for film and theatrical roles, he chose a behind-the-scenes position as a film lab worker with Technicolor. On October 10, 1980, 46 years to the day after his mother took him to his audition at Hal Roach Studios, he died of a heart attack in his Los Angeles home. George Spanky McFarland. George Robert Phillips McFarland was born in Dallas on October 2, 1928. McFarland worked as a model for a Dallas department store before joining Our Gang. He was also recognized for appearing on Dallas freeway billboards and in Wonder Bread newspaper commercials. McFarland's Aunt Dottie replied to Hal Roach Studios' call for images of cute kids. He was cast in the role of Spanky. His mother is claimed to have given him the moniker after pleading with him not to misbehave at Roach's office. He had a penchant for grabbing objects, and his mother would caution him, "Spanky, don't touch." Later in life, he was lovingly known as Spank. Spanky was recognized in the series as the president of the He-Man Woman Haters Club. What happened to Spanky? McFarland quit show business at the age of 24 to join the United States Air Force. He, like William Thomas, couldn't shake the Spanky image and worked odd jobs at a soft drink plant, a hamburger stand, and a popsicle factory. He became a frequent public speaker during his time on The Little Rascals. In 1993, he made his last television appearance as himself at the introduction of the Cheers episode, Woody Gets an Election. He died of a heart attack soon after, in June of that year. He was 64. In January 1994, he was posthumously awarded a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. Matthew Stimey Beard. Matthew Beard Jr. was born in Los Angeles on January 1st, 1925. Before securing a 5-year contract to portray Stimey in Our Gang, Beard was cast as a baby in a number of films. The character was initially titled Hercules, but Our Gang director Robert McGowan renamed him Stimey because he was always stymied by young Beard's inquisitive wanderings about the studio. His distinctive feature was a bald head capped with an extravagant derby hat. Stan Laurel, a comic artist who worked with Our Gang creator Hal Roach, gave him the hat. After leaving the show at the age of 11, Beard went on to play small parts in feature films such as Captain Blood in 1935 and The Return of Frank James in 1940 with fellow Our Gang graduate Jackie Cooper. He had given up acting by the time he was in high school. What happened to Stimey? Unfortunately, Beard developed a heroin addiction. He was able to turn his life around, and following recovery, he appeared as a guest star on Sanford & Son and The Jeffersons, as well as a recurrent part on Good Times as Monty. In 1978, he performed as a backstage staff member in the Buddy Holly story at the Apollo Theater. Sporting his distinctive bowler hat, Beard maintained his sobriety by presenting drug abuse awareness seminars. On January 3, 1981, he had a stroke, suffered head injuries from tumbling down a flight of stairs, and died 5 days later from pneumonia. He was 56. He was buried wearing the renowned derby hat he had worn since his Stimey days. Billy Froggy Lachlan. William Robert Lachlan was born in San Gabriel, California on July 5, 1932. Lachlan came to prominence at the age of 8 when he joined our gang in 1940. Froggy, Lachlan's character, was recognized for his unusual guttural voice that sounded like a frog's croak, giving rise to the moniker. Lachlan provided his own voice. When our gang was canceled in 1944, Lachlan starred in Johnny Doesn't Live Here Anymore, then retired from show business to enjoy his adolescence. Carl Alfalfa Switzer. Carl Dean Switzer was born in Paris, Illinois on August 7, 1927. He and his brother Harold were well-known musicians in their community. In 1934, the Switzers visited relatives in California and by chance went on a sightseeing tour of Hale Roach Studios, where The Little Rascals was shot. Following the tour, Harold, age 8, and Carl, 6, went for dinner at the Our Gang Cafe and started an impromptu performance. Roach happened to be there and was so amazed that he signed them both right away. Carl was given the nickname Alfalfa, which was eventually changed to Alfalfa. What happened to Alfalfa? He was a victim of typecasting after quitting the series in 1940, and he struggled to get assignments. As an adult, he featured in minor roles in B-movies. He left the entertainment industry to become a dog breeder and hunting guide. Switzer died in an unexpected manner in January 1959 when he was fatally shot after an argument over $50 and a hunting dog. Dorothy Deborah. In 1930, Dorothy Deborah joined the cast of Our Gang in Pups is Pups. On the show, she's most known for extravagant hairstyles and bows. She's also noted for her mischievous disposition and her ability to humorously copy other characters' phrases, earning her the moniker Echo. What happened to Echo? After 24 shows, Deborah quit the series in 1933. She finished high school and went to work as a clerk. She had 2 children before succumbing to emphysema in 2010. Brandon Bug Hall as Alfalfa. Brandon Hall, nicknamed Bug by his parents, was born February 1, 1985 in Fort Worth, Texas. He is most remembered for his role as Alfalfa in the 1994 film The Little Rascals. Hall was nominated for a Young Artist Award for Best Performance by a Youth Ensemble in a Motion Picture for his work in the film. The awards continued after The Little Rascals. Hall was nominated for a Young Star Award in 1996 for Best Performance by a Young Actor in a Made-for-TV movie for his role as Eddie Munster in the Fox telefilm The Munsters' Scary Little Christmas. Hall has worked on a number of memorable Disney films, including Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves and Get a Clue. In 2017, he married Jill DeGroff, with whom he had a daughter, Josephina Joy. Brittany Ashton Holmes as Darla. Brittany Ashton Holmes was born in California on February 27, 1989. Darla was Holmes's first Hollywood role, as it was for Travis Tedford. It propelled her to Ellen appearances and a position in the Red Shoes Diary. Following that, she appeared in other made-for-TV movies, including Humanoids from the Deep. She was last seen on television in 2014 in the film We Hate Paul Revere. Ross Bagley as Buckwheat. Ross Elliott Bagley was born in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin on December 5, 1988. Buckwheat was played by Bagley in the 1994 film The Little Rascals. We don't know what the audition was like, but we're sure the actor had to be able to utter "Ote." Bagley is most remembered for his portrayal of Will Smith's nephew, Nicholas Nicky Banks, on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from 1994 to 1996. He would eventually work with Smith again, this time as his son, Dylan, on Independence Day in 1996. Kevin Jamal Woods as Stimey. In the 1994 Little Rascals, Kevin Jamal Woods wore the famed derby hat as Stimey. He last appeared on TV in The Brainiacs in 2000. Prior to that, Woods appeared as Frank on Blossom and voiced one of Fly and Rex's pups in the Oscar-nominated film Babe in 1995. Travis Tedford as Spanky. Travis William Tedford was born in Rockwall, Texas on August 19, 1988. George McFarland, the other Spanky, was also from Texas. Tedford's first job, if you don't include becoming Welch's first child spokesman when he was 5, was as Spanky. He wouldn't feature in another film or television program for 4 years until he was cast in Slappy and the Stinkers in 1998 and subsequently in the Pretender TV series. He also contributed voices to A Bug's Life in 1998. His most recent picture, The Final, was released in 2010. It was about high school geeks seeking vengeance on their tormentors. In terms of education, he graduated from Trinity Valley Community College 2 years before with an associate degree in liberal arts. He now resides in Garland, Texas. Zachary Mabry as Porky. Zachary Mabry was born in Plano, Texas on January 19, 1990. He was just 4 years old when he took on the role of Spanky's younger brother, Porky. It was his first and also his last role. Instead of performing, he chose a more traditional upbringing, ultimately enrolling at the University of Oklahoma. He does seem to be highly active on Twitter, having over 4,000 followers. He describes himself as a frequent tweeter and a freelancer CPA. He also broadcasts the Roman Circus podcast, a weekly podcast. Blake McIver Ewing as Waldo. Blake McIver Ewing portrayed Waldo in the 1994 film and has subsequently worked in both television and cinema. He appeared on Full House as Derek, Michelle's buddy, and provided the voice for the cartoon character Eugene on Hey Arnold. However, most of his mature creative inventiveness has gone to music. McIver Ewing is a brilliant singer, songwriter, and pianist. In 2014, he published his first album, The Time Manipulator. He presently co-hosts The People's Couch on Bravo. Olsen twins as unnamed twins. The Olsen twins were the darlings of the TV series Full House in the late 1980s and early 1990s, so it's easy to understand why they'd make a fleeting cameo in a film like The Rascals, which was packed with guest appearances. The Olsens appeared in the film as nameless twins with just a few lines of conversation. The Olsens grew up in the public eye with their every action scrutinized and questioned. As adults, they've both worked on a variety of projects, primarily in the high-end fashion sector. Jordan Warcall as Froggy. Little Froggy was one of the film's most adorable rascals. It's difficult not to like him with his huge, round spectacles and throaty voice. Jordan Warcall is Froggy's true name. Throughout the 1990s, he pursued an acting career, obtaining appearances in Seventh Heaven, Judging Amy, and The X-Files. Warcall retired from acting shortly after the turn of the century and maintains a low-key but steady presence on Twitter. His voice is less creepy today, according to him. E.G. Daily as Froggy. Voice. Wait a second. Does that boy's voice truly sound like that? According to IMDb, Elizabeth Daly, or E.G., performed part or all of Froggy's voice. It's easy to understand why when you look at her outstanding resume. Daly's been acting since the late 1970s and has over 200 acting credits to her name, the great majority of which are for voiceover work. Her most notable performances were Babe in Babe, Pig in the City, and Buttercup in the popular cartoon series The Powerpuff Girls.